Hi everyone, welcome to an Express Studio session for 2024. It's been a while since we've done one of these. My name is Alicia and I'm the Head of People, Process and Partnerships at Express Travel Group, and I'd like to welcome Sarah Hoskin, the National Account Manager for Globus Family of Brands, to come along today and talk to us all about the Advisor Appreciation Program. I'm sure that most of you have seen the information about this new incentive program available to you through trade publications, but we thought it was a really good opportunity to get Sarah along to really tell us the nitty-gritties of how the program works so that you can all understand how to access all the benefits. So thanks so much for coming along, Sarah.
Thank you very much for having me, Lee.
Great. So exciting. Agents always love reward and recognition. So I think it's a great opportunity for Globus Family Brands to jump on the train, which is great.
They do. So, we're fully aware of that, and that's why we've put this into place now.
I love it. So we've got a 4-tiered program based on sales per calendar year. So silver, bronze, silver, gold, and platinum. Mm-hmm. And I can see that it's tiered targets here ranging from 210,000 through to 750,000.
Yep.
So tell us, are those sales targets, are they agency based or consultant based?
They're agency based.
Okay.
So we run off a calendar year, 1st of January through to the end of December. Now you might be thinking, okay, why the hell have you then started this midway through the year? Well, that's because we didn't want to wait until next January. So look, what we look at is your overall amount of sales that your agency has done. So it doesn't matter how many people are working within your business, but it's your agency. We look at the overall TTV you sell with us across our 3 brands, Globus, Cosmos and Avalon Waterways. And that is how we determine what tier that you're going to be on.
Perfect. So it's booked sales within that calendar year period?
Correct.
Is it based on deposited sales?
It is. They do have to be deposited. They do have to be new bookings as well. And that's where I think we're quite fortunate with the Globus family. We don't have a lot of hangover credits. And yes, I will say hangover credits from the COVID period. We were very good to refund pretty much everyone who asked straight up. So it's clean slate now. New bookings made this calendar year will count.
Perfect. So if any agency is sort of sitting in that space heading towards bronze, talk us through how achievable it is to kind of reach some of these targets.
Yeah, look, we do think it is actually very achievable. We know that there's a lot of other loyalty programs out there with some of our competitors, whether it's in the touring space or land space in general, or whether it's the river cruise space. We know there's been some great loyalty programs with some of our competitors there in the past, which was why we wanted to come to the table with this. So we do think it's very achievable because with the different tiers, you'll notice that the overall TTV that your agency needs to reach in a year, to reach each tier is actually set a lot lower than some of our competitors with loyalty programs out there. So that's a good start. The other thing to just keep in mind as well is we have a lot of product across the Globus family of brands. So we've obviously got Globus, Cosmos and Avalon. With Globus and Cosmos, we've got 12 different styles of touring within that. So even our Independence by Globus, the more sort of FIT packages, they would count towards this. We've got something ridiculous like over 70 different countries we travel to, over 500 different itineraries just in the coach space. And then when you speak to the river cruise part of it, we actually own our own ships with Avalon Waterways. So we have a hell of a lot more capacity with coach and with river cruise to be able to sell into. So much so that even just a couple of months ago, we decided to put on additional departures with additional ships for our Christmas market cruising this year. So that's always really popular with Avalon. Sells out, we got a lot of group bookings on that. And the fact that we own our own ships means we've been able to put on extra departures. So with more capacity, obviously means there's more to sell into and there's a lot more product options for your client, so it's easier to hit. And of course, with those tiers being a lot lower as well. So just to really break it down, I guess, because we look at, just bronze alone, $210,000 in a year, you think, okay, great. What does that actually mean sort of more concretely? We've broken it down. We've looked at the overall, I guess, booking value per passenger for the Express Travel Group so far this year, so since the 1st of January. It's probably sitting at about $6,900, so let's say almost $7,000 per passenger is what's being spent through the Express Travel Group. So, I mean, good margins on that obviously for you with decent commission, which is great. But what that means is if we actually break it down, do the maths behind it, to hit bronze, so our minimum level, you would only need to have about 2 passengers booked with our products, every month to hit bronze. You'd need probably about 4 to hit silver the next tier. You'd need 6 passengers to hit gold. You need probably just around 9 to hit your platinum, which yes, does sound more challenging. It sounds like a lot more passengers. But when you consider that we've got a lot of particularly agents within the Express Travel Group who sell to a wide database, do a lot of groups with us as well, and it only takes 8 passengers to make a group, you can actually see when you break it down per passenger that it actually is quite achievable to reach these different tiers. And a big part of this is we really just wanted to recognise and acknowledge those agencies who are already supporting us, and really just make sure that we're rewarding and recognising them, but also incentivising others who maybe aren't, because of various loyalty programs, or they're not feeling like they're getting enough out of it, or don't see the benefits of it. We want those ones to actually look at us and go, okay, well, let's actually start working with the Globus Family of Brands BDMs to hit these different tiers. So big long answer to your question, Leash.
No, that was a very comprehensive answer.
Hopefully I've covered a bit around.
No, it sounds really quite achievable. So say an agency sitting in a bronze space and they're just about to tip over the edge of hitting silver within the same calendar year.
Yep.
How frequently do you update the tiers? Are you doing it quarterly, or what's happening there?
So the plan for us is basically you don't have to do anything. We'll look at this for you. So every couple of months, let's say every quarter, just to be safe. On our end of things, we'll actually run a report. We'll see which agencies across Express Travel Group are close to what tiers, and if you hit a particular tier, we will then reach out to you and advise you. So you'll likely hear from our head office or from your Globus Family of Brands BDM and say, hey, you were on bronze, we've actually noticed you've now hit up to silver, so let's have a conversation around what that means for you, what the benefits are, how to basically use your advantages, or use those benefits, whether it's local store marketing or whatever it is, depending on your tier. So you don't have to do anything, you don't even have to register for this, you just need to keep selling and we'll reach out to you. Now, I do also want to mention there as well, I know with a lot of loyalty programs, if you're $50 shy of a particular tier, it can be a bit sad. It's tough luck, that's sort of it. Given it's a new program, we want to be pretty flexible with this. So if you are $50 or even maybe a couple of $100 off hitting the next tier, reach out to your BDM, right? If you're ever unsure what amount of TTV you're currently on, you can reach out to your BDM as well and they can let you know. So do keep in mind, we'll be pretty flexible with that, but ultimately we'll reach out to you. But if you do want to know where you're currently sitting and want to make some plans with your BDM to work towards hitting any particular tier, then reach out. That's no worries at all. We're very well resourced on the ground. We've got a lot of BDMs across Australia to help. If you don't ask, you don't get.
Exactly. And sometimes you just got to ask the right question, right?
True.
Particularly, I guess, if you can see that an agency is doing really well to strive for a particular goal.
Yeah, and look, our BDMs are pretty active. Not only will you see them out and about, but generally, if they notice you're getting close, they're going to come to you and prompt you as well. So.
Yeah. I'm sure there's probably an advantage for some of you out there to really have a look at these tiers and get a gauge of where your Globus Family of Brands sales are sitting at the moment, and then have a discussion amongst yourselves as to where you're wanting to hit and strive for within this financial year, because there's a lot of really great benefits within this particular program. So I'd love to find out a little bit more, if I can, Sarah, about some of these. So tell us how the cash rewards work.
Yeah, so the cash rewards, this is something that's available on every single tier. So as soon as you've hit a tier and we let you know, you'll have access to agent discounts, but then agent discounted rates, I should say, on our product. But then you'll also get access to these cash rewards. So how that's going to work is every couple of months we receive a list from our overseas office and they go, these are the departures that we have coming up in the next month to, let's say, maybe 4 or 6 months. So more last minute departures. We go, this is the capacity we've got left. We'll actually look at that list. We'll tidy it up for you so that it's not so hard to read. We'll look at the key trips that generally sell for us out of the Australian market as well. And we'll actually send those out to everyone on those tiers. So they'll come through every couple of months and we'll say, hey, if you manage to shift any of this inventory, then we'll give you $100 cash reward per passenger. So the way that'll work is we'll deliver that to you once you've deposited on the passenger. We'll deliver that to you as a Prezi voucher, so you can use it for whatever you want. But it's basically a way of utilising, that not distress, but more of that last minute inventory and just really giving you some rewards if we can get some more, to put it simply in coach terms, bums on seats. So that's what the cash rewards is about.
Bums on seats and cash in pockets.
Yes.
I like it.
That's it.
So a lot of the other benefits in here are generally pretty self-explanatory, like access to some marketing materials and things.
Yep.
One thing that I'm curious to learn a bit more about is the President's Symposium. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
We're very excited about this one. So the President's Symposium is going to be open to our Platinum members. And what this is, it's something that our US office has done for quite some time. Because of our calendar year, basically, what they do is every January, they have all of their top agents will come together. We'll include flights and accommodation. We'll fly them somewhere in the US, and then all the leadership team of the company, the president of the company, have a President's Symposium. So they all come together for essentially a mini conference or a weekend of planning. And what we basically do, the Globus Family of Brands goes, here's our plans for the next year. This is what this is what we've done last year. This is what we've got coming up. There's workshopping, there's brainstorming, there's presentations, but also there's a really great opportunity for us to use those advisors who support us the most and actually get their direct feedback. So lots of that workshopping. So what we want to do next year for the first time ever is implement that in Australia. So we're going to have it a couple of weeks after the US one. So it will be the end of January next year. So 2025, we're going to kick it off. We'll invite our Platinum members along. It'll be somewhere in Australia. We'll put you up with accommodation and flights. And then, of course, similar premise. We'll have our entire leadership team there from Australia, and it'll be a really great opportunity to come together and celebrate success and do some planning and get some really great feedback for our plans for the next 12 months. So we're really excited about that one.
I would be too. That is taking agency engagement and feedback to a whole other level.
It's pretty exciting.
Yeah, but what a great way to be really connected with your top selling agencies.
Well, we know there's feedback out there, and that's the feedback we need to be taking on board. So we're never going to approve and evolve if we don't actually take that feedback on. So that's the purpose there.
The other thing that will be a pretty exciting benefit, I guess, to most people, everyone wants to experience product themselves. And so getting an opportunity to get seats and availability for either you or your selling agents or any of the selling agents in the store, an opportunity to go and experience the product for themselves. So some of the tiers also offer familial opportunities.
We do, yeah. So a couple of things there. We do have familial opportunities, but then we also have Avalon cabins. Now, say cabins, not just spaces. So we have Avalon cabins available for particular tiers. So you'll get a complimentary cabin. You can use it on a river cruise of, let's say, 5 to 8 days in Europe, or it might be on the Mekong, for example, if you want to. As long as one person is actually going to be an active selling consultant who takes that cabin, they could take a partner, they could take a friend, they could take a client. You could send 2 people from your agency on that. So that's going to be available for them to use whenever they want. But the Gold and Platinum members, they're also going to have a guaranteed spot for someone within their agency on our hosted famils. So we're going to have a hosted famil for New Zealand. We're going to have a separate hosted famil just for our Australian agents. We've actually just found out in the last week or so. So we launched the program back on the 20th of May. Geez, we're in June now. We launched it on the 20th of May, but we've only announced just last week, we got the news of where we're actually going to be doing our first hosted famil, and that will be running in April next year. Do you want to take a guess where it might be, Leash?
Oh.
Or take a guess as to which one of our brands it might be to start with.
Oh, geez.
Do you want me to give you a hint? This will test your knowledge, actually. So, okay, it's going to be one of our Coach brands.
Yes.
The reason we've picked this destination, look, Europe is most popular for us. I'll narrow it down for you.
Yeah.
One of our Coach brands, it's going to be a hosted famil. There's a connection here, which is a really important one for the Globus family of brands. So this company actually started over 95 years ago in Lake Lugano in Switzerland. So family-run company. So this particular itinerary is going to include a little bit of a time in Lugano in Switzerland. Any guesses what country it's going to spend most time in?
Italy.
Yes. Yes.
Amazing.
Good guess. I obviously narrowed it down enough for you. So we've just announced next April is going to be our hosted famil, the Cosmos itinerary, Magic of the Italian Lakes. So a beautiful itinerary, has a really beautiful connection to the origins of the company as well. So I'm really excited about that one. I wish I got to do it.
I was going to say, do you get to host that one?
No, unfortunately, no. I don't think I'll be on it, but I'm really happy for all our Platinum members who will be.
Oh, and as a head office brand, how do we get a seat?
If you'd like Leash to join you, please make sure you're selling lots of Globus family of brands product.
So overall, a fantastic program, a way to appreciate your advisors out in the market. So obviously in putting this program together, you did a bit of research against some of the other competing programs out there.
Yep.
So how do you feel this stacks up against some of the others?
Yeah, so I sort of mentioned that briefly before, I guess, jumped in probably a bit too hard at the start. But again, I think it was really a matter of us looking what's out there in the marketplace, what's doable from our perspective, what's reasonable, and what we know's worked. So particularly, again, the fact that our tiers, it's a lot less for you to hit a tier with us than it is with some of our competitors. And we also know that when you've got really high, tiers that you're striving for, these big dollar amounts, again, it's going to come down to the capacity you have. So just in the river cruise space, we own our own ships. So that means we can have a hell of a lot more capacity there. We can put extra departures on. So it's much easier to hit these tiers if you've got more product to sell and more varied products. So we've got Globus, Cosmos and Avalon and a hell of a lot of trips there. And that we own our own ships. So even if you're looking at river alone, if you don't even touch our coach product, we've got more capacity for you to sell into. So it's going to be much more achievable for you to hit these tiers.
Yeah, great. Well, thank you so much for telling us all about the program. Now, I think it would be remiss of us to not sit here and also talk about any other incentives and offers that we've got in market with the Globus Family of Brands at the moment. So, Sarah, what's hot?
Yes, so look, keep in mind, just because we've launched this Advisor Appreciation Program doesn't mean that's it. It doesn't mean that we're never going to have any other familials or any other incentives or any other fun stuff. I can't tell you what's coming up because you should really be focused on the Advisor Appreciation Program, but I can tell you what's current. And that is a campaign that we've been running since the start of May. It runs until the end of June. If you sell European departures, particularly sell the ones to Ireland, we'll give you extra points. But we currently have a Globus and Cosmos incentive, so sell passengers onto Globus and Cosmos in Europe. And our top sellers, we've got 8 spots who will be joining us on an Escapes by Globus itinerary. So one of our winter Irish escapes next March. And you might be thinking, okay, that's a little bit cold. The reason we're doing March is so that you can be in Ireland to celebrate St. Patrick's Day.
Fantastic.
So you just have to make sure you're selling Globus and Cosmos European departures. Sell that now until the end of June, because our top 8 agents will be going with us to celebrate St. Paddy's Day next March.
Which I can vouch is a fun time to go to Ireland.
A hell of a lot of fun.
Yeah,
so
fantastic.
We're excited about that one.
All right, great. Well, thank you so much for coming along today.
Thanks for having me.
And everyone, get in store, have a look at the targets and work out which level you're going to shoot for. Attached is the flyer. If you've got any questions, please reach out to your Globus Family of Brands BDMs or ETG HQ, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for having me.